this is the food of the teacher. It's in the form of the prasad. It's in the form of yagya, in the form of offering. I want that offering from everyone. That's what it means. Full of that water, ready to flow in every direction. It has no choice but to flow. It doesn't take preferences. It will flow soon as there is inclination created, any pipeline created, any little channel dug. Water just will run there. So please offer it to me. Offer it gesturally, internally, as long as it is sincere.
How to open myself to the flow of love from my own heart into the teacher-student relationship. I experienced some form of betrayal of that or in that student-teacher relationship. Not just any, but something very delicately connected to my own life force and the stream of pure love. I still feel this imprint in my field and the pattern of freezing and the mutilation of my own life force. I do have that exalted Venus-Mars conjunction in the 7th house, in the house of relationship, in the sign of Pisces. So the expression of that beauty or pure love or love feels essential to my being, but also overshadowed by that relational aspect of that past student-teacher dynamic and the imprint onto my own life force that it left, which comes up in meditation at the level of the half-conscious or subconscious and leads to immense frustration, freeze and depression. I feel that this lies sediment at the base of my being, contracting the expression of love, pure love, and beauty and the creative force.
There's no easy answer, no easy solution. But like with all relationships, absolutely all of them without exception, if our trust has been violated or somehow has been even taken for granted, for example, right? Violated, maybe that's the extreme example, then it is harder to trust next time. All relationships without exception. So, and I don't even think this only, or not just only, exclusively somehow, or in a greater measure, relates to women than men. Because I know and have met a lot of men whose trust and whose, let's say, feelings have been hurt strongly by relationship, by betrayal, for example, and they find it's impossible to trust anymore, right? Like that kind of all women are bitches, sort of, among the men, and it's sometimes really irreconcilable. I'm giving this for you sort of. We first understand that it connects to absolutely everything, every relational aspect. So if you bringing this exclusively in connection to teacher-student relationship, then it doesn't hold any special place outside of this. It doesn't. Because it's just like any other connection, any other relation, any other friendship. However, there is a very important distinction there. And one needs to understand what that distinction is. Also, there is something about that relationship which I'm afraid to spill it, makes it one-sided. And because it makes it one-sided, it does stand unique to all other forms of relationships. In all other forms of relationship, it would be two ways work. Two parties need to get involved, equally, ideally. The commitment, the trust, what have you, this, that. In this relationship, it's a one-way affair. Why is it one-way affair? Well, this sooner or later becomes very clear. But it has always been like that because of all the examples and analogies that I have had, one is the simplest and most telling, that by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. This would not surprise you why I would bring that particular analogy. Maharishi spoke about this relationship in terms of teacher being like a pond, large pond, lake, or even an ocean, a sea, a large reservoir of water. It's full up to its brim. But the water doesn't move anywhere. That knowledge here, it represents that knowledge. It's simply full there. It represents fullness. It only moves when there is a possibility, when someone approaches that reservoir of water and creates some channels, whatever, piping, digging, create some channels so the water then naturally flows. Teacher doesn't do anything. This is a very ancient, timeless way of understanding this relationship. Certainly it's a Vedic concept, tantric concept. It's completely relevant in the entire Orient, without exception, which means including all the Sufi orders as well. That teacher-student relationship, it's a one-way affair. It's to make tubes, to make some pipes. It's a pipeline. That's all. You see? So in other words, the teacher, this example, is just that pond, that lake, full up to its whatever shores. And it's water, ready to flow in any direction. Absolutely any direction. So when I first came across that, it stunned me, but also it stunned me with some kind of maybe degree of unfairness, that it's all down to a student, not down to a teacher. And at that time I wasn't in the position to be a teacher in any stretch of imagination. See? Why am I saying this is that so that maybe you need to distinguish what really loving teacher-student relationship or teacher-student relationship that is based on beauty, love, and all these qualities that you have outlined. So that we don't mix here apples and pears where we somehow begin to see this as what would require a romantic relationship, what would require any other relationship if you are to go into that willingly. You know, there is a kind of unspoken contractual agreement. I will commit, but you commit as well. You know, it has to be mutual commitment on the part of partners. And of course, if we are lucky, this and that, then our caring will smile back and reflect to us by caring of the other. Give and take. In some cultures, it's not even to be discussed. It's a matter of fact. It's a eternal law, a dharma. A dharma of a husband is to take care of his wife, period. And dharma of a wife is to take care of her husband, period. And inside that richness, inside that security, inside that strength, inside that strength of the society. Strength of the society is only in the strength of the relationships, nowhere else. Without that, there's no society. Without that is liberal democracy. BS society, would-be civilization. But when you speak about this, my simple suggestion to you is, as this echoes or reverberations of previous, let's say, betrayal plays itself, right, and casts a shadow, you need to understand why you're doing that. See? And dig the pipelines anyway. See? Irrespective, that doesn't matter. Love come later, trust me. Love, connection, all this what will be involved come later. It cannot come before the pipes are dug. Once the pipes are dug, water begins to flow. And that's it. That heart-to-heart connection flows like that. See? If it's a real teacher. If it's a real teacher, because real teacher has to be full. Filled. Full. And that then automatically happens. Knowledge simply flows. Knowledge here, of course, not just mere concepts and precepts. Spiritual knowledge here surpasses that. It's all transmission above all else. It's all the Shakti path. It's all that feeling the connection to the divine family, the Kula. See? But it can't come first. In other words, the love can't come first. The pipes need to be dug. The channels need to be created first. Out of necessity. Simple as that. See? And then you can either simultaneously, or then you can work on how this, let's say, has this infusion of flavor of past experiences. How that something that where the trust was violated, where the, right? Was it an abuse of trust? Was it a direct abuse? Was it, you see what I mean? Whatever happened, right? Of course, there is a memory in you, the memory of that. But don't let that memory to become an excuse, some kind of something that simply acts as an excuse. Because this understanding that it's a one-way affair, in itself, if you reflect on this, should free you from any necessity to wanting to have that relationship where you will feel that what, effectively speaking, here is romanticized very much. I gave an example. Someone recently on YouTube, you probably come across, I think it's a Russian name, compared me in aura, blah, 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 to that of Gangaji. Anyone come across that? Yeah? There's one of the recent videos, no? Oh, you and I looked you up, and you and Gangaji, I can see, you know. We're very, very, you know, same aura, same vibrations. Wouldn't it be amazing if two of you share some discussion panel? Gangaji and I have met. We've been introduced like over 10 years ago, like 2012, in California during the Science and Non-Duality Conference. You know, we've met. I've met her at the time when her popularity was probably at her peak. And I was still pretty much new kid on the block. Why am I saying this? Is because the story of Gangaji is such that when she first came to Punjaji, right, Papaji, and experienced this amazing awakening, she was like literally felt for everyone and for herself that she was under the wing of this newly found master, this kind of master who was hidden in Lucknow. So he didn't enjoy the, let's say, the notoriety that many Indian teachers already enjoyed. Many of them made their way to the West and literally conquered the hearts of the devotees, and we could say, right? All these legendary figures, names. No, he was just living his life very quietly. Right? These two teachers who influenced non-duality movement most profoundly. There are more than two, but I'm saying the two are the most influential. Nisargadatta and Papaji were discovered very late in their lives. So Gangaji came there right after Andrew Cohen's time. It is Andrew Cohen who is credited with bringing the notoriety of Papaji, of the existence of that master, to North America. And she went through spectacular awakening, she went through this real, she caught some Shakti. She was all over the place, and Papaji was very, very caring and very, So she went back to America, and a year or two, I don't know exactly, she comes back. And this is in her own memories. There she is, she's arriving to Lucknow, and she just walks to see Papaji, and he's standing there surrounded by some people, some of his, I don't know, like household, because the gatherings were all in his house, or disciples maybe. And she's at a distance coming out of taxi. I'm here, or here I am, right? Like, she's thinking that Papaji is going to run and like they're going to embrace and like lock in the embraces, right? That's how she assumed this meeting again will be. And he just looked, nodded, and carried on speaking. He completely ignored her. She had this moment, this sudden moment, suddenly it hit her like a bus, like a train. At one moment she was considered to be the favorite. She was like, everyone was like, wow, what a treatment. Westerner receiving here, this young woman. And they came together with Eli Bear Jackson, who also became a teacher, the husband and wife. It's very telling, because Papaji obviously delivered the teaching there and then. Instantaneous, see? No hugs, no flowers, no how are yous, I missed you, No. Sit down, take place in satsang, bring your inquiry, that's it. See? Indian teachers are, by large, mean business. You see? Back in the days. Today, many of them turn into entertainers. So it's very, very difficult act to juggle, right? So particularly if Westerners flock there, so you need to really act accordingly. I'm saying, giving this example to show also in such example where it felt like, yes, that was the connection, mutual connection, you see? And she adored Papaji, completely adored him, Just simplified. Don't look for any special whatever. Pipes first. And then see what happens.
With digging the pipes, the problem arises. As soon as this point is touched, where the connection is made to the force. Through your presence, I just sometimes tend to freeze and shut down, and I'm not able to enter meditation, but also not able to allow whatever there is to flow through.
So what do you think prevents you from? What holds you back? What you experience? What, just freezing? Just that, and in complete darkness. You don't know, no clues, no insights.
I mean, at the moment, I don't really feel strong enough to, go deeper with that.
Well, you don't need to go deeper. Just go as shallow as you can. Just wet your toes. I'm not asking to dive into the deep implications. Just what prevents you? What? What stands on the way?
It feels that my body is standing in that way of shutting down, being tired, being depressed, having too much internal information, just being weighed down.
Okay. So, are you willing to make a first step to digging these pipes? Are you willing to?
I mean, yes, that's why I'm here.
Okay. So why don't you give it to me? Why don't you offer me what you have? Usually when I come here as a flower, right, it's an offering, respect to a teacher, it doesn't matter, right? It's a gesture. And these many gestures, like among us guys, I could feel these gestures. Sometimes just like nod there means more than just, not everyone needs to touch the feet. This is not the culture. And yet, offering is very important. Offering. So what are you offering to me? And I'm suggesting to you that offering to the teacher your troubles is your job. That's what the teacher is here for. Are you willing to offer it to me wholeheartedly? Everything that you just now described. All this, including depression. Can you lay it at my feet, please? Can you lay it sincerely here? And I'll take it all out of this room as my own. That's why I'm here. That's what offering is. Offering is not incense, flowers, chants, and good looks. Offering is also that. Sometimes teachers, when they kind of done with all that, Maharishi Mahesh teacher's own guru, Swami Brahmananda Saraswati, was very stern, was known for being not a, once kind of like, he wasn't a kind of a hearty teacher in that sense. He was very warrior-like, kshatriya-like. At some point he exclaimed, I don't need none of your pujas. Bring me your sorrows, your tears, your suffering. Bring it here honestly and empty your load. That's what he said. And many other teachers have been bringing this reminder. So I'm saying to you, are you willing to offer me what you have? If this is all you have, I will take it. But don't let me go hungry. That's not what it's based on. I feed off offerings. It's my food. This is the food of the teacher. It's in the form of the prasad. It's in the form of yagya, in the form of offering. I want that offering from everyone. That's what it means. Full of that water, ready to flow in every direction. It has no choice. but to flow. It doesn't take preferences. It will flow soon as there is inclination created, any pipeline created, any little channel dug. Water just will run there. So please offer it to me. Offer it gesturally, internally, as long as it is sincere. That's what really I can suggest you. See? Try. Not as an intellectual project, as a sincere act.